3, 2, 1.
All right, episode 5, Trendy Husky.
Baby.
Yeah, that's right. 5 number 5. Trendy Husky Podcast. Today's lineup, the usual suspects. We got Danny Blue Eyes, the return of the one and only
Return.
Danny Blue
Took a
Eyes.
slight day off.
There
Yes,
you go.
It's good to be back.
We will be talking about that a little later because some bets were going on. On my left, I got beautiful Ollie in production.
Hey guys.
All right, and your host, Yassi, aka Frenchie.
Frenchman.
There you go. All right, today we have a treat for you guys. Tim Lukas. Today's guest is someone super dedicated. If you know anything about him, failure is just not an option.
Timmy 2 times.
There you go. Played in
Ocho
D3,
Luco.
played in D1 football,
Timmy Tuggies.
played for various indoor football teams, played in Brazil, and played in the CFL. Timmy, thank you so much for being here today. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing well, man. Thank you for having me. I
Of
appreciate this,
course.
French. It's cool to be out here. And hello to everybody else out there.
There you go.
Big time, Timmy. It's good to have you, my man.
Big time
It's good
Timmy
to
Jim in
have
the
you.
building. Let's
I
go.
know,
Run
man.
it up.
All right, so a little history about Timmy. We knew Timmy since we all went to high school, the three of us. Timmy, Danny Blue Eyes, and myself. We all went to Hersey High School back in Mount Prospect.
Shout out Mount Prospect.
There you go. Shout out to Mount Prospect. Timmy was born actually in Mount Prospect.
True.
There you go.
Excellent.
And he started his, career kind of with Hersey High School. Is
Yeah.
that what it all started for you?
No, I mean, I've been playing football since 6. Actually, me and Danny probably go back even further playing Little League together.
Okay.
I think it was the Wildcats, right?
Yeah, the Mount
Wildcats.
Prospect Wildcats. We're on the same team.
Nice.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Funny story. He was actually, I believe, what were you, running back?
Yeah, I was a running back back in the day.
think-
Started
I
at
think he
34.
was 6'4" at that time as well.
Seriously? Wow.
He was 6'4".
Nah, I was always bigger. I was always a little bit taller than everybody, but yeah, I was a big running back.
Oh, damn.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
The funny thing about it is, I was about 4 feet tall, like a normal fourth grader was.
Okay.
And my coach would get pissed off at us because we couldn't tackle this man.
No, he's much bigger.
And I would look at him, 4 feet tall. He's 6'4". I'm like, you tackle him, you douche.
Yeah, no, but it was cool.
He
I
just
mean,
didn't understand.
it was fun. Like I said, we go far back, and we had a great little league system. So that's really where I fell in love with the game, and it was cool having teammates that were friends. To start playing football and progress it all the way up to Hersey, where it became a little bit more serious for me, and I kind of felt like someday this could be an avenue that I want to explore. So I've always been in love with the game since about 6 years old, and since I ever started playing flag football back in the day. But Hersey is kind of where I realized that hopefully that one day it could grow into something more. So.
Dude, I saw the article that the Chicago Tribune did about you.
Yeah.
And I loved the article.
Yeah, that's cool.
Because I know you,
Yeah.
and a lot of people don't. A lot of people follow you, but they don't know who Tim Lukas is.
Exactly, the football player and
Right.
the person.
Exactly. And I see the dedication. I
Yeah.
see the workout. I
Appreciate
see the commitment. I see the diet. I see how much time you put into this. And I see that you are not giving up.
Yeah, man, I can't. I mean, it kind of comes natural to me. Like, people ask, hey, what motivates you or what brings you to work out and try so hard for something?
Right.
And, to me, it's almost mandatory. It's not like an option.
Right.
If I want to be at the level that I think I can get to someday, then I have to work, I recognize that I might not be there yet. I might not be fast enough. Might not be low enough in my brakes. So that's why I'm always trying to progress myself so that, if I do get the opportunity to make it someday, that I'll be ready for it, and I'll be excited, if that day comes.
All right.
Into that.
Yeah.
So let's go back to after you graduated high school,
Mhm.
you went to D3 football.
Yes, sir.
You worked out. You played for Cottage.
Yeah, Carthage College. So they're up in Kenosha, Wisconsin. I only had, I think, maybe like 2 offers out of high school. It's kind of a hard situation because we weren't a very good football program.
I was gonna say that Hersey is not really known for any program. By the way.
But I mean, academically, it's an awesome school. So shout
Yeah,
out
but not for
Hersey.
sports.
But not for sports. Maybe swimming, golf, some other things. But
Right.
they are doing better now in football. So I
Okay.
do want to recognize that they've made a lot of progress in the last couple of years, which is
Nice.
cool. But yeah, we weren't very competent in the football world back when I was there, and
Okay.
it made it hard for people to want to come out and cheer and people to show us respect because we weren't putting up wins. And you know, a lot of different factors went into that. But you know, at one point, I knew halfway through the season that things weren't going very well, and I wanted to play ultimately professionally someday, or at least at the Division I level. And you know, I kind of wanted to get my name out there, but we didn't have the opportunity to get scouts at games. And you know, the process that you should be doing, the way kids are doing it now, is going to camps and getting your name out there, getting film out there, Twitter, Huddle, you know, Facebook, whatever it is. There's a lot of avenues for people to explore and get to be known as a football player.
Okay.
You know, we didn't always have that back when I was in high school, and
Right.
certainly not being a very good team, we didn't have any recognition. So there weren't scouts out there. There weren't people. So
looking for talent per se.
yeah,
I
looking
get
for
what you're
talent per
saying.
se. So it put me in a difficult position, but you know, it also gave me a chance to grow and really take it into my own hands. Say, you know, if I want to do something, then maybe I have to go out and look for it. I have to put myself in the position to work myself into, you know, an opportunity. So you know, that's what I kind of advise kids nowadays. If you want to get out there, don't be afraid to ask. Don't be afraid to reach out to people. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there, because that's ultimately what started helping me. Is you know, committing to Division III and getting an athletic scholarship and proving myself against the starters there.
Right.
Where I was a freshman and sophomore starting games already, putting up numbers and stats, and I was like, you know what, maybe I can do this. You know, I started believing in myself, and then other people started believing in me too. So.
Cool. So how did the D1 come about after D3? So how did you end up reaching out to University of Illinois?
Well,
or?
I believe I took my film, and I knew after like my sophomore year, after a couple games where I was, you know, doing pretty well, and like I said, I was already starting, I think, by my sophomore year, so it kind of showed me, hey, I'm starting to grow into my body a little bit. I'm kind of finding myself along the way. And I didn't want to be a big fish in a small pond.
Got it.
I knew if I was ever going to get a shot someday at a higher level or a higher league, like I had to put myself against better talent with more eyes on me and prove it to myself. Hey, can I beat this guy who might be a first or second round
Right.
selection in the draft? Can I go against these guys who are bigger and stronger and faster than what I'm used to? I kind of wanted to challenge myself.
Right.
So sent my tape over there. First applied to get into the school. Academically first, you have to. So I was getting really good grades at Carthage, and that helped me get into the school. My sister knew some of the trainers on the team. She reached out to them, say, hey, Tim is a Division III player. He wants to try out for the team. He wants to walk on. How does he do it? So they set up a correspondence between us. So we started talking. I met with them, got accepted, and then killed the workout, and the rest is history.
Let me ask you this, and it's different how they do it in Europe,
Yeah.
and I want to get your insight on that. Do you think it's actually a lot of pressure on the whole student-athlete thing?
Oh, for sure, 100%, 1000%.
Because you gotta diet, you gotta work out, you gotta do this, and you gotta do your homework and prepare for.
Oh my goodness!
Isn't that crazy?
It
That
is
seems like a
absolutely
lot.
insane.
It is a lot.
No, it is, because a lot of times you're waking up at 5 a.m. to go work out,
Right.
and with the team, so you either have a 5 or 6 o'clock lift, and then you're going to your next class. You're showering, getting ready for class. You know, class, lunch, and then you're back at the stadium for meetings and film, and then you have practice, and then
Okay.
after practice you have homework. So really it's a whole day thing, and that was challenging for me because I wasn't used to that. I wasn't used to how serious, you know, people take football. You know,
Right.
to be successful on the field, you have to go through all these small things. You have to be dedicated to class. You have to be getting grades. You have to be showing up for workouts. You have to be working out all the time. You know, so it kind of woke me up. Like, say, wow, I see some guys who are really talented here, but it's not just their talents, their work ethic too. So I think it is a lot of pressure, but that's the kind of pressure that you need if you want to take things seriously.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like a lot of people that probably were talented gave up on their dreams because of stuff like
Yeah,
that.
no, I've seen it a few
weasels out
times.
the week. Huh.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I've seen it a few times where, you know, guys can have all the talent in the world,
Right.
and it comes easy to them, so
Right.
they might fall off down the line because, you know, they're forced to work harder and harder as
Right.
they go, and they're not used to having that, you know.
And let's just call a spade. Sometimes people are just not good in school. That doesn't mean they're failures.
That's
You know what I
fair.
mean? But
They might
now
be meant
for me to
something else.
become a football player or baseball player or whatever, I have to go through this program, which I feel like is, high school mandatory. I completely understand
Yeah,
that.
uh-huh.
But after high school, I don't think classes should be mandatory if you want to become an athlete.
No, I mean, I think there's other avenues now. It was kind of cool that the XFL opened up their ideas to letting high school players come
Yep.
play for them. You know, so I wish they kind of would have been able to continue with that.
Okay.
But at the same time, we don't know how that works yet. You know, we used to see it in NBA, right, with
Right.
LeBron James and some other players.
Well, that was back in the old days,
Yeah,
and
before
now
they
we're going to
changed the rule.
trying to play with it
Yeah.
or whatever. But like you see those what do you call those ball kids? The one of them went to like Lithuania, the other one went to. They both went to Lithuania. Then he
Yeah.
came back to the States, and he's
Uh-huh.
doing another year in Australia. And
Yeah.
now he's gonna be.
But
He's
in
supposed
football,
to be.
you really don't have that option.
No.
Kind of like the
No,
NBA
you
or
don't.
basketball
Yeah.
players. You kind of
Well-
forced to go to school for what is it, 2 years?
Well,
Yeah,
that's
that's
actually that
2
brings me
3
to my
years,
my
yeah.
next thing, because you played in Brazil after University of
Yeah,
Illinois. That's
uh-huh.
where you got the
That was
call.
my first thing. Yeah.
Okay, here's my first question.
hmm
Would you be able to do that from high school and just go to Brazil and be just play professional football?
I think you would be able to. Like technically, you would if you had the opportunity to have a contract out of high school. You're over 18 years old. You
Uh-huh.
have the ability to work for a company. Then for sure you can go do that step. It might be a little bit more difficult for you to go overseas and start playing and then try to create more opportunities for you
Right.
if you don't have college film, if you don't have coaches who are backing you up. But I think it is definitely a possibility. You
Okay.
can do that. Yeah.
Is it being done already or not?
I haven't seen it. Like personally, I've
You
known
haven't
a lot
seen
of,
too many 18, 19 years olds over there in Brazil?
Not too many. There are guys who are from those countries who are 18 or 19 years old and are playing football instead of going to college. So,
But they're Brazilians.
But they're Brazilians or
Yeah.
they're from that country
Got
that
it.
they're at. So
But there were you weren't the only American down there when you were playing, right?
I
In
wasn't.
Brazil,
So
right?
teams in Brazil have kind of like a two American cap limit. So
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it kind of creates a little bit more competition for the entire league if you can bring, two Americans that are going to help you, facilitate the process of learning. But if you bring more than that,
Right.
then it creates a disadvantage for the other teams who don't have the money for the funding.
Got
So
it.
you gotta kind of put a limit. If you brought 6 or 7, badass Americans come play
Right.
for your football team, every other one's gonna be like, hey, well, we can't afford those guys. What are we supposed to do?
Right.
So they put a limit on it, and I think there's about like 210 teams there. So not widely known that football is actually taken off in Brazil. I was unaware of that before I went over there. So there are a lot of teams, a lot of players over there, a lot of people interested in it.
When you heard Brazil,
Yeah.
did you were you shocked? Well, first of all, who called you? Was it your
It
Asian
was-
that called you?
No,
And
so I didn't have an agent at that point. I had stopped playing for almost a whole year after college because came out here and got a regular job. I was finishing off my degree and doing my internship technically,
Right.
and I thought that I had been done. I had a shoulder injury and I'd been out for 6-7 months, and I was actually working in Orange at an awesome job. Danny came out and visited me with the boys, and it was as if I was an adult now, and I was like, maybe this job and doing something I really like to help these students and everything is what I'm supposed to be doing.
Right.
But I couldn't fall asleep at night. Like I couldn't stop thinking about football. After about 4 or 5 months, I was like, man, am I ever going to play again? Am I ever going to be able to be on the field and have shoulder pads and get after it like I'm used to doing my whole life? So I couldn't step away from the game just yet. And, I had to tell my job that I'd be leaving so that I could explore other opportunities. And I started putting my film everywhere I could think of. I
Got
took
it.
all my college highlights, my practice clips, everything, put them everywhere. I think there was YouTube, Euro players, Huddle, everything. I
So
put it
you
out
did
there.
everything yourself?
I did everything myself.
No
yeah.
agent, no nothing. You're like, oh,
I
that's
had
the
no
only
one
way.
helping me. I thought I was done. Like I said, I thought I was done. I had stopped working out for a couple of months, and I had been working 40, 50 hours a week. I was like, I thought I might be done until I kind of questioned myself. Hey, what are you going to do if you want to keep playing? Put yourself out there a little bit.
Now,
Right.
the interesting thing, getting the offer in Brazil, it wasn't as a receiver. Is that correct?
Yeah, it was
Right?
a quarterback.
QB,
yeah.
I saw that,
Yeah,
and I saw the
And
plays you were
could sing
making.
it. could
I
sing
saw a
it,
lot of
yeah.
highlights yesterday.
Yes, I got the call from the manager who was interested in signing another player from the Big Ten. So this other player, his name was Ricardo. He played receiver.
I saw
He went to Michigan,
Mhm.
right? And they wanted to bring 2 Americans, Big Ten players, as a package deal. To get a little bit hype. The country or the team in the city hasn't.
The
had,
team wasn't doing so well, and
Exactly.
they wanted not to go into a rebuild, but they wanted
Yeah.
to bring in 2 guys from the U.S.
2 guys from
Right.
the U.S. to kind of put a little, juice to the team
Right.
and kind of teach them. So the manager had called me, and I had gotten offers when I put my stuff out there. A few different countries were interested. Poland, there was one in France, I think Mexico. So I think maybe 5 or 6 different countries.
Were
Italy.
you surprised how many other countries that had American football out
Yeah,
there?
it was. I think everybody is surprised. Everyone who I've told that, I've played in Brazil.
Sorry, do you mind pushing your mic just a little bit? Yeah, just
This way?
close it up. Sorry.
Like this?
I got you. fix it up.
Like this.
Yeah, push it. Yeah, there you go. Right there.
Yeah, so like a lot of people are surprised that when I say I was playing American football in Brazil, or they ask me about it, they say, "You don't look like a soccer player. Like you're 6'4", 220."
They
Wait,
assume.
you-
They assume.
You're like,
They
this is-
assume other type of.
So they
Okay,
like scratch their head.
okay.
They're like, "Wait, you played soccer? You played football? Like, wait, what do you mean? There's American football?" Or I'm like, "Yeah, there's American football." So the manager had called me. Some other teams reached out, and I told them no because I was kind of situated in my job, and I was like, you know what? I don't know anybody over there. I don't speak Portuguese. I've never been to Brazil. I'd be going by myself. I literally don't know a soul in the whole country.
Right.
And I told him probably not, but I'll think about it. And then the other player, Ricardo, called me, and he was still staying in Michigan training. He said, "Dude,
What
are you
doing?
kidding me?" Yeah,
Right.
he's like, "What do you do? You're turning down Brazil. Don't you know about the girls and the beaches and the free money to go play over there? They're paying your travel expenses, like beautiful country. Why would you say no?"
What?
And when he put it to me that way, I was like,
Hold on.
Wait, you said
Hold on.
girls?
Yeah, you said girls and
Beautiful
beaches.
girls, all right.
Beautiful, all
Girls,
right.
beaches, so where do I
Yeah,
sign?
where
And
do I
what? You're
sign?
how old by the time? 20, 21?
I was, I think, 22 at this
22.
time. 22 or 23, something like fresh out of college for
Right.
almost a whole
So
year.
you're 22, 23,
Yeah.
and you had an opportunity to go to Brazil,
Yeah.
and you considered that.
And I consider, and when he said that, it was almost like a click, like,
That
yep.
shows a level
a
of
light bulb
maturity
on,
in a
yeah.
way. I like that.
A little bit.
A
I mean,
bit of
you have to
maturity.
take chances in this
Because
thing, in this life.
Me or Danny Blue Eyes would have just jumped on that ship. And I was like, wait, what? Brazil? Let's go. Like,
Yeah, no, I was a little skeptical because I was thought, how is it gonna look for my family?
Right.
I'd
Oh,
be going
of course,
far
yeah.
away, and they don't know if I'm gonna be protected, and they obviously have their questions and concerns.
Right.
But we got a great friend group, so I brought it up to them and said, "Hey guys, I'm thinking about going to play ball in Brazil," and they're like, "Brazil, let's go!" Like what? But they're used to me, doing, different things and all the time. So they're,
How many years did you do over there?
It was 8 months, I think. So
Okay.
6 months of my contract, and then I overstayed my visa by 2 months because I didn't want to come home. Like I wasn't ready yet.
Now you don't want to get out.
Yeah.
Bro, it was so nice. I tell everybody this. It was the most fun year of my entire life I've had so
Right.
far, and it was awesome to go over there and show the Brazilian football culture what
Right.
American football culture is like. So I tried to bring intensity to practice, leadership, and
Right.
put them through drills that I'm used to going through, Oklahoma and one-on-ones, so things that they weren't used to doing because they only got serious about it maybe 10 years ago. So I was able to go over there and be like a coach and a player and
Right.
play quarterback, which is a position that I'm not frankly super used to, but I know
Yeah.
enough about it
Right, of course.
from playing
Oh, yeah.
receiver, and I
Right.
can throw the ball. So I know how to read defenses. I know the steps and the progressions that you're supposed to make. That doesn't mean I always did that when I was out
Right.
there. A lot of times I would just take the ball and start running. But it was really cool.
Now,
It was fun.
did you play defense as well there, or
I
was
did,
it just
yeah.
In Brazil?
Yeah, I played
Yeah.
defense.
Did,
too.
okay, I
Same
knew you
game,
played
right?
defense.
Safety, and
Yeah.
then sometimes I go in at defense end.
Did you
Oh,
play
wow.
everything?
Yeah, I played.
Because you
I mean,
played in defense with Husky
Yeah,
High School.
Hersey, yeah, I was
Uh-huh.
defense
Yeah.
end back in the day.
You
yeah.
played wide receiver and tight end as
Yeah,
well.
And
And
I was a running back to start, so I've kind of been a
right.
jack
And
all
then you
trades.
played
Oh, yeah.
QB
Yeah.
and what safety?
Safety
And safety in
safety,
Brazil.
yeah.
So damn, you
Yeah.
played literally.
Yeah.
Does that help in a way?
Oh, it does. I mean, like I
Because you
said,
understand.
because you understand the
Right.
positioning, and a lot of times the cool thing about playing receiver or any other position is that you can kind of put yourself in the other person's shoes. So like when I play receiver, I'm thinking, what is this DB reading?
Right.
Is he reading my position? Is he reading the quarterback?
Right.
What's his stance? What's his alignment? All these things that go into his mind can help me if I know what he's doing. Right. So as a quarterback, I know what the receivers are taught to do. I know what I'm telling them, what routes to go when they're going to make their breaks, the timing of it, where the safeties are, the alignments, everything like that kind of help me. As a safety and a quarterback, I don't think I would make it to the highest level playing those positions. But my experience, growing up playing running back,
yeah.
receiver, all these things helped me, and I had a lot of fun. Like
Right.
I can toss the ball pretty well. I got a gun,
Good.
but I don't have all the skill set that a American quarterback usually has.
Cool. So and then after Brazil, came back and you started playing indoor football.
Yeah, uh-huh.
So you played with Florida, played in Colorado.
Yeah, all over the place.
You played all over the place, and you
Yeah.
had a little thing with in Washington as well.
Yeah, so I went, let's see, I won my first championship for Brazil for Juventude FIA. Like
You
that's what
guys
they're called.
won the chip
Won the
that
champion,
year.
Yes, sir.
Did you?
Yeah,
So
shout
you
out.
took them from the bottom
Yeah.
and you put them on top.
Well, I don't know if they were on the bottom.
They were
close.
struggling.
Yeah, they were struggling.
They were struggling. I read that they were struggling.
I think you have to credit the manager. We call him Duda.
Okay.
For bringing in me and Ricardo and shaping the team and being willing to take a risk on two American players to come in and jumpstart their seasons.
Right.
So it was really a cool thing that he did to reach out and bring us in and take his own money to fly us in and all these things that needed to happen. So he took the risk of doing it. And when we got there immediately, people were interested. People wanted to know who we were, where we came from, what we did in college, where we grew up. There were so many questions, because they really like American culture and they're starting to get infatuated with football. Is like they wanted to know everything. I was on radio interviews, watching myself do, TV interviews at the same time. And to me, that was a very cool process. I've never done that before. It was like, way the Division I stars or American stars are treated in football here. That's how they treated me over there. So for the first time in my life, I got to feel like that, like the man of the city, and that was cool for me. It gave me a little bit of confidence. And, after winning the championship there, I was like, hey, I can stay here and keep playing for another 4 or 5 years and have a great time and have my buddies and stay on the beach and win more championships and do all these fun things, or I can come back to the United States and see how far I can push myself.
Got it.
So
and that's the route you went with.
Yeah, that's the route.
So that could have been, in a way, the easier route. But you went for 8 months. You had the job done.
Yeah.
Won the chip, and then you're like, nope, this is not it for me. I know I can do better.
That's what I thought. So when I was in the United States and I was just working a regular job, I started to lose a little bit of my muscle. I started to lose a little bit of my training that I've been doing my entire life, and it kind of was like, hey, like, who is this guy? Like, that's not who I'm used to seeing. Like, I'm used to seeing a football player, who's working out all the time and, his body's ready to go. And I wasn't used to the changes my body was making to become just a regular adult. I was like, what's going on here? So once I got to Brazil, all my job was to teach them football, practice, and work out. So I worked out all the time. I was training, half the day in the gym and, the other half of the day teaching them routes and concepts. So that got me back in shape, and that's what I stress to everyone who's interested to go play in overseas, is it'll get you back in shape and it'll get you back hungry. That's what it did for me. It opened the door for me to say, hey, I'm not done with the game yet. The game's not done with me. Let's keep playing. Let's keep pushing ourselves. So when I got back here, I felt ready to go.
Well, I believe, isn't it of all student athletes, isn't it 7% of them don't go on to play at the next level?
Probably, I think almost like 98.
It's
such a small amount, and they stress that to us when you're in college. I remember them pulling up a graph, in a meeting at Illinois and saying, look, the percentage of people that go on is so small, so you really have to take academics extremely important, because everyone wants to. Everyone who plays this sport, everyone who plays any sports wants to do it and get paid to do it. But it's so hard to do it, and so few of you will, that you have to be prepared for life after that.
Right. Do you think all student athletes like you are aware of these opportunities in Brazil or different countries where they could go?
I think they're starting to become more aware of it now that social media and YouTube and all these platforms are starting to show what you can do, because when I was doing it, I didn't know it was going on, and then I started using social media and showing a little bit of my experience, and people were extremely interested in it. People always want to ask me questions about it. How did you get there? How did it go? Did you like it? The people. So I think the tools that are available today are becoming more useful for younger guys to go do the same thing.
How is the money in there as a football player? Is it worthy?
It's worth it. You're never gonna make a ton of money going to play internationally as far as football goes. I think, unless maybe you go to Germany in the G1 or G2 leagues.
Got it.
You can make enough to sustain yourself, and they'll cover the cost of your living and your expenses. So I think I saved up a couple $1,000s while I was playing there. But by the time I was ready to leave, I was like, look, when am I ever going to be in Brazil? I don't know. I don't know when I'm coming back. So I wanted to go explore.
You have in your resume that you won a chip and you lived in Brazil, dude.
No, I think it was cool. It was such a unique. Yeah, chalk that up as a W. Like I said, it was amazing. I think the people over there treated me so nice and so much love. They don't have an American stigma where people want to judge you and look at you like, who is this guy? Why is he here? What is he doing? They just open up their arms and they say, hey, my family's having dinner tonight. You want to be there? We'll cook extra food. They might not even have extra food, but they'll make it for you. They're very opening, and that kind of changed my heart a little bit too, to start opening it up and being nicer to people that I might not know a lot about. And I think American culture could definitely value, or can be of value if they went over there and they saw how people were treated.
Probably a great experience at like 22 years
Oh,
old,
amazing.
never leaving the country.
Amazing.
Right.
Yeah.
One thing I will say about you is that you're very humble.
Thank you.
You are super humble. Is that where? Did Brazil have to do anything with that? Is that where you kind of like?
I think the humbleness comes from an understanding of myself. Like, I know I haven't done what I think I can do yet, and so that's why I don't put myself up on a pedestal. Like, to me, my ultimate goal is obviously to play in the league, and I'm not there yet. So
Right.
I can't be like showboaty and
I got it.
and this huge figure, because to me, I still have a lot left to accomplish. I think I have high expectations for myself. So, the way my parents raised me, having the friend group that we have, everything kind of keeps me, on this
Right.
kind of low key attitude and very chill, so that I can work on myself and progress, so that one day maybe I won't get it.
So now let's go into the indoor football thing. How did
Uh-huh.
you like playing indoor?
It was cool. It was definitely a kind of a raw experience, because if you guys have ever seen it, it's kind of like indoor soccer as far as
Right.
like the
Yeah,
facility.
yeah.
I play soccer. I don't enjoy playing indoor soccer as much as playing
And
outdoor
that's
soccer.
exactly
It's-
how I was.
Right.
Okay, so obviously you took a look at my body size, 6'4", about 218, 220. So I don't fit in a small space, especially in terms of football, like anywhere. I want space, I want room to grow. Obviously, I'm a possession receiver. I'm almost
You're
like a
a
tight
big
end.
dude in a
Yeah.
very little field. I
Exactly.
feel what you're
The
So-
saying.
field's cut in half, no?
The field is cut in
Right.
half. It's only 50 yards, so
And
end
25
zones-
yards wide, too.
25
yeah.
yards.
And not only
A lot
that, like it's
smaller.
barricaded in a
It is
way, and like you can
barricaded, yeah.
really
No,
get
you
hurt
can-
when you
you can
get
fuck
pushed
yourself
off.
Yeah,
up.
for
of that
safety
shit.
purposes, I don't understand.
No,
the
it's
law.
not- it's not safe.
football's
It is
tough
not safe
already.
at all.
Football's already tough, like Dan said. Like
Right,
football's already
and
tough.
now you can get hurt with even more.
Exactly, and there was a few times where I've gone over the wall and smacked my head on cement, and I was like, "What the hell?
That's what the people want to see. I
Yeah,
guess.
people want
I
to see,
don't
because you're
know.
literally flipping over into the
I
stand, so
don't
it's
know.
exciting for people to watch
Right.
and everything. But
Yeah.
for me, like, it was awesome that I was getting to play games again. It was awesome that I was suiting up and coming out of the tunnel and feeling like this warrior. Like, when I play football, I feel very confident in myself and getting ready for war. And it brought that back out in me. Like, okay, let's there's cameras rolling, there's people watching, there's thousands of people in the stands, the excitement, like all of that, I still really enjoy. I feed off of that. So that part was cool. But being a possession guy in an arena game where it's meant for really fast players,
Yep.
it wasn't suited for my type of game.
Got it.
So a lot of times I'm running comebacks, curls, things that are easy, hitches to get the ball in space, across the middle of the field. But I don't have the opportunity to run with the ball. What all receivers
yeah.
want to do, they want to catch and go, post. Running fades or corners. These routes that you can get to the end zone.
Got it.
So for me, it was like, kind of being in a cage, like a big dog in a small cage, but I still had fun with it. So
Arena League, it's looked like as a developmental league, though, for like the NFL,
kind of, yeah,
right?
uh-huh.
So-
It's a two-way street. There's a lot of players who go to the NFL, and for whatever reason, if they can't hang talent-wise, or if they get injuries, they filter down to CFL, to the AFL, to arena
Got
football.
it.
And you'll see a lot of guys with talent who have played in the NFL. Like, I can't tell you, almost every IFL or AFL roster has several players who have been in the NFL for years. And for whatever reason, they found themselves playing arena for the love of the game, or because they want to go back, or because they're not ready to be done with the sport yet. And that's how I kind of use it. Say, hey, look, I'm starting to climb from different levels, but I still get to enjoy playing the game of football. My family gets to watch me at home, like on the computer. So I think it's really cool that there's that opportunity. Some of the leagues are shutting down now, but it's definitely a cool opportunity.
Just put it right back where it. Well, yeah, there you go. Sometimes you gotta do it. Just keep your eye on it. All right, so that's the indoor stuff, and then finally you got the best phone call. I feel like
Yeah,
in
that
your
was one of the
career.
best phone calls. So I was playing up in Green Bay, I think only for like a week. I just got in there. My agent had sent me there. And at first, I didn't really want to go to Green Bay because obviously, I
You're a
strongly
Bears
dislike the
fan.
Packers. Yeah, and they play right outside of Lambeau Field. So literally, like when you're going to practice every day, when I'm going to work, technically, like I'm looking at Lambeau Field,
Right.
and I'm like, dang, like you know what? I don't want to even see yellow and green, but every single day I have to
Some
look at
ugly
it.
ass colors.
It's-
aren't they?
I'm saying,
Yellow
man.
and
Hey, listen,
Jesus.
Green
I'm
and
pretty sure Tim
it's
Lucas
yellow.
will still appreciate a contract
Yeah,
from the
hey,
Green Bay
Packers, if you're
Packers.
listening, I still love you.
There you go.
Oh, man.
We don't mind what
Yeah, nah, I
colors he
won't mind
wears.
if-
We don't
if
mind.
they show me
We'll
an
be wearing
opportunity.
the Packers colors until until he's done, and then we'll take him
so
off
I was
again.
over there and just for like a week, and I think they didn't suit me up for the first game because I didn't have time to get the playbook and everything. And then the next game they suit me up. They throw me in, I think, for the second, third quarter. I end up catching a touchdown at the end of the game, and it felt good because before that I had some small injuries that kept me from playing for like 4 or 5 months, and that was
Right.
frustrating to me. I was like, man, I've never really been banged up like this before where I can't play, and if it got me back into like, all right, let's go. And like 2 days later after that first game I played in, my agent called me and said, hey, where's your passport?
Right.
And I know when he asked that, something's happening. I'm
Right.
like, all right,
Oh,
cool.
yeah, it means business.
It means business.
Yeah.
And he was calling me over and over and over. I had like 8 missed calls, and I was eating lunch with the guys. We had finished
Right.
our morning lift. I was eating lunch, and he kept calling me, and I wasn't looking at it. I was like, all right, talking to the guys, and I'm a new guy, so I don't want to be looking at my phone all the time. But he just calls and says, where's your passport? I said, it's my room, with my thing. He goes, go back to your room, get your passport, pack up your things, and wait for me to call you. I was like, well, I got practice in an hour. Like, what am I supposed to do? He goes, you're not going. I was like, oh. All right. Does coach know? Like, should I have to tell coach? He goes, don't worry about it. I'll handle it. So about an hour later, I got a phone call, and it came up with Montreal area code.
There you go.
And that's, one of the calls that, like I said before, every single player in arena football or whatever level you're playing at, semi-pro, whatever it is, they want that call. They're hoping that someday, I swear it's a strange feeling as a free agent or an athlete in general trying to make it to the league. Every time your phone rings and you don't know the number, you're hoping that it's a team personnel. You're hoping that it's a scout. Like it's like an anxious, like, oh, I wonder who this is. Like, I hope it is. And then it's a telemarketer or whatever.
How old were you at this time?
I think I was 26, I want to say.
Okay.
So I've been playing arena for 2.5 years after Brazil, came back, started working my way up to it. And then I was 26. So about the time that I started becoming even more confident in my game, I had learned the wiggle that arena football uses from the slot position. You have the running start. So that helped me a lot, having that experience of being able to know how to maneuver as a slot receiver and use that motion. It's used in the CFL, they call it the wiggle. So they wanted a big receiver. They wanted someone tall, someone who's got enough speed to go downfield and catch the ball up high. And my agent knew that was me. So he put me on with them, and I think the next day I flew out of Chicago to head up to Montreal. So it was awesome.
And you played for the Alouette?
The Montreal Alouettes,
Alouette,
yeah. So I was only there, for a limited time. I think what was kind of cool and not so cool for me is that a couple of their starter receivers went down during training camp, and you see it all the time in the NFL, any league. Guys go out with minor knickknacks. They have a twisted ankle, or they have busted shoulders, something real small, maybe a sprained finger, and it keeps them out for 2-3 weeks. Whether it's a serious injury or not, these guys are having a higher resume, so they can do those kind of things. 2 guys went out when I got the call, and that's basically what gave me the opportunity to go up there. They needed a big receiver. They needed someone they could plug in right away until those guys came back. So I think they weren't expecting or really ready for me to go out there and kind of bust it up like the way I did. But it was cool for me to be proud of myself. But when those guys came back from their injuries, training camp had ended. If they wanted to keep me on the roster, they would have had to cut those guys who they're already paying their salary for the rest of the year, and they would have had to pay me.
Got it.
So you're gonna have to pay 3 contracts just to keep me, a kind of unknown player, over 2 guys that they already trust and have inked deals.
So how long did you play in the CFL?
It was just 2 preseason games. So I got there for the first preseason game. I suited up. I was there the day before their first away preseason game. I just got in there. They'd just taken my measurements. I just signed my contract, and the next day I was already loading up on the team bus, wearing my suit, getting ready to go suit up for a game. I hadn't even gotten the playbook yet. And I was like, this is crazy. Like, there was a little bit of animosity from other guys there who they didn't dress for that game because they're like, he just got here. Like, and I was like, yeah, I don't know. Let's go. But it was really cool. It was fun for me to put on the uniform, travel. I think we played in Ottawa. So we traveled for a couple hours with the team. It felt very professional. It felt like, hey, this is where I belong. Like this, when I went out there for warm-ups, I was catching balls, just like looking around kind of in amazement. I was like, this is where I feel like, I finally reached the level that I can compete at and have fun. Huh? It felt right, yeah. There was, I think, probably like 40,000 people there. The city was bumping for the music. They were real, turned up for the game. And I wanted to go in so bad. I was like next to the receivers coach the whole time. And I was like, hey, like, So what do they have on this? What do they have on this? What do they have on this? Okay, so if you put me in for next play, I'll probably do that. And they're like, you don't have the playbook, but emergency case, just be ready. I was like, okay, I'm ready.
Cool.
Right. So the whole time I was kind of at his hip, hoping that they would throw me in. They didn't put me in for the first game. Obviously, I didn't have the playbook. I didn't know any of the language, none of the lingo, which is very tough to do.
It's got to be very tough to keep changing playbooks.
It helps because...
Were they speaking French or were they speaking English?
So American football, so it's kind of strange. They have a little bit different rules over there.
Right.
I wasn't aware that on third down that they usually punt the ball because there's only 3 downs. So I hadn't even realized that when I got there. And I was
probably a good thing to know.
Yeah,
maybe,
I was talking to a player on the sidelines and I was like, yo, dude, why are we punting on third down? Like, don't they know we got another down? And he's like,
someone tell the coach.
Somebody
tell the coach.
pass the ball or something. And so he's like, dude, they only have 3 downs in CFL. I was like, oh, okay.
Man, I didn't even know that. Wow.
Yeah.
It's news to me.
So yeah, it was news to me.
Okay.
And it was kind of learning it along the way. I think the coaches and the offensive coordinator really were kind of proud of my ability to want to go in there in the fire. Like I was like, they're like, oh, we can't throw you in the fire like that. We don't want to do that to you.
Right.
And I was like, throw me in the fire. Like,
put me
that's
in
what
there.
I want.
Okay,
This
that's
is
what
what I
I've
was
been
like, this is why I
preparing
came
for.
here.
Right.
Fucking throw me in. Let's
Sometimes
see what
I just
happens.
fix that. Yeah. But yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean.
So
like.
they were I think glad to have a player that was willing to go out there and put it all on the line like that. And then I got back to Montreal. We started practicing. I said all my time studying the playbook. I think I got maybe like 80 to 90% of it down in like 6 days, which is hard to do because playbooks at the high level, are thick.
Right.
A lot of lingo, a lot of terminology. Dan said it's hard to learn new playbooks and so many new systems. It is, but it also helps to have a knowledge of other people's playbooks and the way they do. If you run a spread offense, there's so many variations that you could use. A lot of the lingo can be overlapping and used in the same terminology. Like spread left can be used in a lot of different offenses, and that you basically know what that means. Spread left, that means probably 2 to 3 receivers on the left. So it can help and it can hurt. I think for me, it helped because I used all my time to study. I was asking the receivers coach to spend more time with me after practice and meetings rooms. So he'd sit next to me and say, teach me this, coach. Like, I want to know. I want to know what this is so that I can get out there. I don't want to be standing on the sidelines begging you to go in next game. So I think they saw that I was able to play it, and they saw that I'm hungry.
Right, of course.
Coaches saw
I think
that
I
I'm
could
hungry.
relate to that similar, when I'm playing with different teams in Madden, learning the new playbook.
Yeah, it's
very
tough,
challenging. I'm like,
Of
wait
course.
a minute, give me a break. I
And
don't
this
know the
playing
playbook,
video
you
game.
know?
This is not a real life situation.
But,
you
we
still
could
gotta
compare.
know.
Understand what you're saying.
compare.
You
That's
compare.
all
It's the
I'm
same
saying.
thing.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, Madden is cool because it gives people like an idea of how intricate most systems are. If you imagine the job of a NFL quarterback, how hard it is to read defenses and the timing, and having 400-pound, 300-pound guys screaming down the line trying to take your neck off, you grow an appreciation for what they have to really do.
Absolutely.
Probably not as easy as Mahomes makes it look.
Probably not.
There's
Shout out
very
Patrick,
few
you make it look
people
nice.
in the world that can do it.
What Pat does.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think I was
Absolutely.
just talking about this the other day with someone. I don't know if it was you guys or not, but Pat, what he did last year was incredible in the playoffs because it wasn't, based off of, coming out the gate and killing everybody. He was coming from behind and using his athletic
Always coming
prowess,
from behind.
And he kind of willed his team
He'd
to
be down
victory.
20-0, 21-0.
Yeah, and then
he'll-
24-0.
you never see
and they
him
were
fall.
up. They were up by 16 at halftime.
Yeah.
That was
Down
against
24.
the Raiders, or
No,
who was
the
it against?
Texans.
The Texans.
Tell
But
you
you saw
Mahomes.
his demeanor, the way he
Tell
was on
you
the sideline.
Mahomes.
Like, he was getting his team say, hey, come on, guys, let's go.
Right.
He never even for a second looked like he doubted himself or his team.
Listen,
That's a great leader
I
right
don't
there.
like talking too much about Mahomes. And
Why?
because, first of
Why
all, I'm
you
a
like him?
huge...
We should
Because
talk every
we...
show about him.
He's got
I'll tell
too
you
much
what.
cash.
Because we missed on him. The Bears missed out on him.
Oh, I mean,
Could
we-
you
we
believe
know that.
we
We
missed
are
out
aware.
on him
We
to
are
take
aware, bro.
Trubisky?
We are aware. We know that.
That's why it hurts every time I hear Mahomes. It's like a punch in the heart. It's
We're
like,
not going to be over that for quite a while.
We will never. That would have been better than any Super Bowl. I'm sorry. I'm just saying.
Well, we would have multiple Super Bowls if he was our
We would have
quarterback.
had multiple playoffs appearances. That's for
Super
sure.
Bowls.
And then Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Super Bowl.
Actually,
We'd be a dynasty.
we won. I just found out yesterday that the Bears only won one Super Bowl. I thought it was two. We only won one.
Just one.
One.
Wasn't too long. It was all back in 85.
Yeah.
That hurt. 86,
Well,
but
before
it
our time.
hurts. Yeah, it hurts.
Before
It's a
Ah.
sore spot for every Bears fan, and it's an easy spot for people to make fun of us, because
Of
they
course.
want to remind us all the time.
Mhm.
Hey,
But
who's
when the
Patriots?
Bears won it in '86, they smashed everyone.
Yes, they did.
They
were
beat the
dominant.
Patriots like 40
It would've been cool if
something
we
to
were
like
alive to see
16.
that.
10, yeah. One more.
They
Mm.
smashed.
The only
Ever.
team they lost to was the Dolphins, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think they only lost
Yeah.
like a game.
And I
that
think
year,
they
so.
they lost that game on the end of the at
Right.
the end of the game too. So that would have been really cool for as Bears fans, but we haven't had a great. We've never had amazing teams to cheer for the Super Bowl. So that's why it's hard to like lose Patrick too.
Right. It was super hard, but anyways.
We're a defensive team, and that's I guess we're sticking to our identity.
All right, so we've been talking about everything you've done so far.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about what you're doing right now.
All
I've
right.
seen the workouts.
Mhm.
I've seen that you're living out here now in California, and all you're doing is working out, dieting,
Yeah.
and you're living by that every day, every week,
Well,
every
I
month.
mean, you read in that Tribune article,
Right.
like I kind of have a mantra that says the grind don't stop.
Right.
Like it means no matter what you're doing, you have to be working, and that's
Right.
something that I stress to almost everyone I talk to, everyone I work out with. If they don't know this already,
Mhm.
no matter the highs or lows that you have, you're going to have to work for it. Unless you have Patrick Mahomes talent, unless you have Deshaun Watson talent, unless you have some of this talent that some of these guys have, you're going to have to work through some highs and lows.
I get
So,
what you're saying.
Yeah.
You're saying in another way, there's some people who are just born gifted, and some people
Yeah,
are just
yeah.
very
Not to
hardworking
say that,
people.
not to say that those people aren't hardworking as well.
Right.
They mostly always are.
Oh, no,
It usually
absolutely.
comes with it. But there's other guys who have to work a little bit harder to get seen and get noticed. And
I'll give you a soccer analogy in this one. There's Messi versus Ronaldo. I think it's one.
Why does it always come down to
It always does. It always
We're
does.
talking American football.
Listen,
now,
listen. I'll
especially
tell you
this
why.
one.
I'll tell because
Switch over real quick.
I swear,
it's a
man.
good
Because it's
example.
his
Go ahead.
wheelhouse.
Go ahead.
Hold on.
All
I'll
right.
tell you why it's a good
All right.
example. Ronaldo has worked hard for everything he's gotten. Messi is one of the most gifted players that you
Mhm.
would ever see.
No, he is.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that is one of the greatest rivalry, whether it's football, American football, boxing, whatever. Messi Ronaldo is gonna go down as the best rivalry ever.
Mhm.
So that's why, like Ronaldo, he works hard, man. His
Yeah.
workouts are super crazy.
I've seen some of his
I
stuff.
still
he
don't get
does.
that analogy.
no, you. What do
Well,
you
he's
mean?
just saying that Ronaldo
I
puts
know,
in
I'm
more
just
work.
kidding.
He
to
I'm
be
puts
good.
in a lot more work.
Messi's more naturally
Messi's more
talented.
natural.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
naturally
I
just
see,
like
I see
that.
what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah.
okay.
But
So,
also an example.
You're
there,
on the Ronaldo side because you are a hard-working
That's
guy.
never a bad comparison.
That is.
compared to Ronaldo.
See what I
I'll
was
take that.
going with
Yeah.
that? So you just
But
gotta
I'll
give
give you
it
a
time.
comparison
It's
as well.
It's a build-up.
I'll give
Maybe
you a
we'll go
comparison
one
as well,
shot.
like for an American example like this. Okay, so I'm working out right now, and I've always had really great opportunities to work with tremendous talent
Right.
and other great trainers. So I've always had people who have taken me under their wing and kind of showed me the way.
Right.
Right now, I'm working on an amazing speed trainer. His name's Gary. He's one of the best in the area, and he
Shout
has.
out Gary.
Shout out to Gary Cavalin, and so he has two of the fastest players in the NFL. He's got Deshaun Jackson and John Ross. John Ross, very famous
Ooh,
for
nice.
That's some speed.
Yeah.
that's so that's quite a resume
Oh,
to for him to be working with these guys where they fly him in just to work out privately or work out privately with him. That shows the pedigree that his knowledge is at,
Absolutely.
right? So for me
Oh,
to
yeah.
be able to work with them and work with TJ Hushmanzada and all these other pros, and shout out to all my trainers who have helped me along the way. These guys have really seen something in me, and they like to show me the way. Say, hey, you might have this capability. Let's kind of work on it. So the example that I was going to pull up is that John Ross. Obviously very fast guy, very gifted. He's playing for the Bengals right now. But he's out there 2-3 times a week, every week, still working his speed, still doing the same drills that I'm doing.
Did he have the best record
He
in
did.
all of the
For the
combines?
40 dash,
Yeah,
Damn.
broke down.
Broke
NFL combine.
down.
And that's the
Yeah,
same
yeah,
coach
something
that
like
coached him
huh?
through it?
Yeah, and he's out there with us. So it's 3 days a
Wow.
week. Gary's out there. There's other players, and John is still working, doing his workouts, the sled pushes, the pulls. He's out there hour and a half grinding, just like me. And that's kind of something cool for me to witness. It's
Got
like,
it.
hey, look at this guy. He's already one of the fastest players in the NFL,
Mhm.
but he's still working his speed training 3-4 days a week. He's still out there grinding, sweating his tail off, working for it. So it gives me a little bit more motivation to say, look, I know I don't have the talent of these guys. I know I might not ever run a 4.2 or 4.3, but I have to work as hard as they do, if not harder, if I want to be at their level.
Got it.
And everyone that I've worked with, all the pros in the NFL and all the really cool players that I've gotten a chance to catch with or work out with have kind of showed me different things along the way. I've seen guys who have quicker feet than me or faster or whatever, and they all have their own part of the game, and they all teach me something different.
Right.
And that's what's really cool for me to have is say, hey, look, these guys believe in me. They think I have potential to do something. So that gives me motivation through the hard times, through the things that don't look so great, and the times where I'm feeling real low about myself is like, hey, you know, if these other players are seeing something in me, it's because there's a reason. There's something that they're seeing, you know. So I want to keep going.
I mean, that's good company to learn from, though. They say you
amazing.
learn from the best.
Yeah.
And you're working out with them every day. I mean,
If you put,
it's got to be beneficial.
If you keep a good circle around you, you have a good support system, and I think that's something I'm very thankful for. You know, I have friends that are always interested in me, and they always want to help me out, and they want to see me do something. So they're asking me about, you know, what's going on with football. Hey, I hope you make it. Just these small motivational texts or something encouraging goes a long way for me. Because I do have days where I'm not feeling so great. I do have days where I feel burnt out. I do have days where I'm like, hey, is this really for me if I haven't made it yet? Like, I've been trying so hard and I haven't made it yet. And then there's those re-encouraging, you know, text messages. Those are re-encouraging moments where I'm with trainers and they help me through something. So, you know, like I said before, it's highs and lows, but, you know, I'm very thankful for all of it.
Since you go through all these highs and lows, especially, I would say in the last few years, have you ever seriously considered hanging it up, has there ever been serious considered, or?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I ever thought about quitting. You know, there's been time where a lot of doubt has crept into my mind, where it's either like a family member or a friend says something, or someone who may not know the whole story and everything. They say something or look at me a certain way, like, what are you still doing? Like, you know, I think Frog said maybe like 4 or 5 months ago.
Frog is a buddy of ours, by the way, just to give a little
background.
Frog is a little buddy of ours that went to high school
Frog
with us as well.
said, I think I was talking about football with Danny, I think like 4 or 5 months ago, and Frog was like, oh, you're still trying for that? Like, not in a like a negative way, or like, you know, just kind of surprised like that I was still, you know, going after it this way. And I think you know, most of my friends would probably be like, whoa, like, you know, it's cool to see that I'm sticking with it, right? But at that same point, the way you said it, like, oh, you're still trying for that, like it hasn't happened.
Of course you're gonna feel some kind of way
I feel some type of way. So there's little comments,
but
that
it
people
sucks
make.
more when it's a family member.
Yeah, family.
I'm
or
sorry, friends. Hey, I know you
people
your friends mean a lot to you.
Yeah.
But a family member?
Yeah, it makes it tough. I think
watch out from them.
No,
you know?
you do, because the way I've seen it, you know, I get a first-hand view of everything I do. I get a first-hand view of my workouts, how long I'm out there, the guys who are talking to me, helping me out. I know what's happening when I'm talking to teams, what they cut me for. I know these reasons, just like the business reason I told you before about Montreal. Not everyone who knows about my story going up to the CFL knows why I got cut. Right. They just see it on paper. Oh, you know, he played in one game, he had a couple catches, he had 3 catches, whatever, and then he got cut the next day. He wasn't good enough. That's the way some people in my family see it. That's the way, you know, people who are looking from the outside see it. Oh, if he's not good enough for the CFL, how is he going to make it to the NFL? You know, but they don't see the fact of me going up there and be there for 6 days learning 90% of the playbook. They don't see the coaches who took me under their wing, who gave me an opportunity to get out there and lead all the receivers in the stat category. So to me, I've had such high points, like, you know, being at Division I level, going against first-round, second-round draft picks, and killing them in practice, and having the coach come over and say, hey, you can't let a walk-on do that. Like, these small little things where I've shown potential to be really good is what another thing that keeps me going. And so... Yeah,
now after playing all these years, I mean, I remember you telling me you're probably in the best shape of your life. Is that not right?
I was going to ask that. I mean, at 29 years old, you've been doing this since you were 6, like you said. But, of course, the years that matters are the years after high school. Yeah. Do you feel like you are in the best shape of your life?
I think so. I think, like, as far as how fast and athletically, you know, gifted I may be or may not be, like, I think I'm at one of my highest point right now. So I was telling Danny this, like, a couple days ago. If I would have had an NFL opportunity at 22 or 23, I might have got smacked around. I don't know. I'm a competitor at heart when I get out there, and I feel like a monster, so I will never shy away from it. But we don't know if I would have been strong enough, or we don't know if I knew enough acumen to go against that level at 22 or 23. So if, say I got that shot, you know, coming out of college, and I got cut or injured, I might not be where I am today at the position I am. So,
and you got to remember, I mean, some people may think 29 may be a little bit older for football, but he doesn't have the miles of a 29-year-old.
No,
you know, it's not like he's taking hits out there every day.
Forget the miles. It's just a nice story. It's going to be a nice sound.
No matter how
when you know a nice 20. I mean, listen, we keep hearing about kid coming out of, you know, Akron and making it in the basketball at 17 and stuff. What about a kid coming out of Mount Prospect?
There you go. Still making
it. You know what I mean? Making it at 29 years old. You know what he's showing? He's showing that not giving up is key. Absolutely.
I mean, I've actually heard people say in other podcasts and radio shows, like, the difference that separates a lot of people who make it and don't are the only people who don't give up. No matter what happens to them, what injuries they go through, what highs and lows, is they stay with it. Like, there's nothing that's going to stop them. And that's the way I felt about it. Like, you know, I've had doubt before. I've had these things where I question, like, hey, is it going my way? But at no point was I like, I should stop.
Right.
No,
I don't know about you, Frenchman, but pretty sold. You know, I think it's. I think we're looking here at the 30 NFL GMs, man.
I really think so as well. I think you got a spot.
Hey, my phone's always open.
Hey, listen, I think you got a spot. FYI, we will be linking all of Tim Lukas' social media down below in the description. So, you know, whether you're a GM or a scout or just a fan, you want to say hello, you know, just follow him on Instagram. We're gonna have his YouTube. He doesn't have too many videos on YouTube, but he does have some. He does a lot of Instagram stuff. So please follow him. Just look.
Yeah, no, I like when people come in and get excited, just like you guys are. Like, it feels more wholesome to me that I'm not doing it alone. That there's people out there who want to see me make it and genuinely are interested in saying, "Hey, let's hear about your story. Let's see where it goes. Let's see where it takes you." So there's a lot of times where I'm gonna do it for these people who got my back, who want to see me make it, not the people who are questioning it.
I think by the end of it, it's gonna be a beautiful book because you were talking about writing a book eventually. I think it will be a beautiful book.
You guys will be in it too. So
there you go. There you go.
There you go. Blue has a Frenchie.
All right. We're gonna pick your brain a little bit about what's going on in the NFL today, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
So Patrick Mahomes just signed a beautiful contract. Well, some said beautiful, some said not so beautiful. He could have made more money, but it is a he could have.
He's got all the money in the world.
No, but he signed it for a long.
They gave him all of it.
What was it?
Well, he could have signed a little bit for 5 and then asked for a lot more after 5. He could have made more than that money they gave him. But what do you think of it?
I think it's a mega deal. It's obviously broken a lot of history records for the biggest contract, I think, in American sports at any professional. Sports, yeah, so I'm not sure.
Well, Mike Trout up there as well, right?
Yeah. So I think in total it was about 12-year, like 500.
It's over 500.
Right. Sorry, that Mike again.
So it's one of the biggest. I think it's obviously record breaking. You see in today's climate where, you know, athletes are getting paid more and more money to be doing this, and it kind of puts them even on a higher pedestal.
And like, if anybody understands them, it's you, because you know what they're going through.
So that's why I feel like I have kind of a unique perspective on things, because I still consider myself a big fan of the game. You know, obviously everyone knows me. I'm a huge Bears fan. So when I get to work out with, you know, a couple Bears players or former Bears players, to me it's like, I'm walking in these doors like with my eyes open, like, dang, I get to as a fan, you know. But I'm also a player, and I'm also trying to make something out of it. So to me, I have to put on different glasses sometimes. Like, okay, like remember, you're here to work, and they see you as an athlete. They don't see you as a fan that's you know, coming in the door. So that's why, you know, if I catch a bus from Jameis Winston, or I'm out there with Mike Evans, or, you know, working out with whatever guys, I have to, you know, carry myself in a certain way where, you know, my work ethic will garner me respect, and it usually happens that way. So it's kind of cool.
Okay, so who do you think got the best chance of winning next year?
I wish I could say the Bears.
I can't let you say that in the
I
show.
think
we don't lie to people on this show.
Let's go, Nicky boy. No, I wouldn't say the Bears. Obviously, I'm not sure how they're gonna do. I'm hopeful,
I don't think they might even come out of their conference.
I'm usually an optimistic guy, but I don't have a lot of optimism for the Bears.
Right.
That's maybe something will change. Hopefully it does. But I would say, I think right now, probably in betting wise, like Kansas City is favored as the number one.
I mean, they gotta be. They're gonna be favored here for the next few years.
So I could see
Baltimore not there yet.
I think Baltimore could have a similar type of season as they had the last year or two. I think it could happen because Lamar can only carry you so far. They've got great receivers and they got a pretty good defense. So they can go as far as Lamar takes them and other teams takes them. But ultimately, I think it's going to be hard to top, Patrick. It's going to be hard to top. I don't know how Tampa's going to do too. So it'll be an interesting year. A lot of people are excited about it.
There is rumors about AB and the Texans. Do you like that matchup?
Ooh. I think anyone who picks up AB just has to do it in a careful way. That's all. You know, obviously he's an extremely talented guy. You know,
everyone knows that. Yeah.
Everyone knows that about him.
Those feet.
How can you those feet is crazy. His body control for his speed is nuts. And I think like whatever team does take their shot on him, because I think he will get a shot, they have to have in the contract, you know, outs. If you do any of this, if we see any of this type of behavior, you're seeing the door. We don't care how good you are. And that's how it is a lot of teams. Like, if you can't handle yourself off the field, you don't get a chance to be on it.
Got it. I got two more. I'm going to let Danny Blue Eyes ask you some questions. Cam Newton in the New England Patriots, think it's going to work out?
It's tough to say. I think it's going to be interesting, just like the AB scenario. Like, we don't know what we're going to see. We don't know if Cam's going to win the outright starter at training camp. Most people expect him to be the outright starter. He might get injured again. We don't know. But he's got a big chip on his shoulder right now, and I like the kind of attitude that he's had the last couple of weeks because I've been watching some of his workout videos and stuff, and he's bringing a lot of energy and a kind of like a FU attitude to the world.
Okay.
He does, he looks ready to go.
He has. Have you seen his workout?
Yeah, he said he put the NFL on notice, and that's the way I kind of like to do it. I think one of his videos resonated me a lot when he was in the workout room and he was sweating and he's working out and he's listening
to the treadmill?
I don't know. He might have just got off the treadmill.
Okay.
And he just got off, and he said they gave up on me. Like
I think I know which one he's talking about.
And he's just shaking his head, like but you can see what kind of shape he is and the fire in his eyes, and that's how I feel sometimes.
We're talking about, someone who was MVP just not too long
exactly.
ago.
But that's how you see how quick people are in American sports to try to change their
Isaiah
momentum.
Thomas with the Boston Celtics,
crazy.
same thing.
Yeah,
just
you're ready to flip a switch, and sometimes you have to block out that noise. You have to block out the doubt. If Cam knows what he can do, and he's getting ready to show it. So I think that's going to be fun.
The Pictures have been great for so long, though. They always find those players with that chip on the shoulder, those prove-it deals.
Right.
They never overpay for anyone. They
don't sign a massive contract.
Really didn't pay him anything.
Even Brady took less money, like $25 million.
They gave him chump change, but
so it'd be cool. I think I'm excited for it as a
fan. They need pieces, though, don't you think?
They do need pieces for sure.
They need a lot of pieces.
They need a lot of pieces. I think it won't be a Super Bowl run year if Cam stays healthy the whole year. I don't see that happening. But I think that they can win a lot of games with Cam if he starts. I wanted him as a Bears.
I wish he would have been a Bear. Yes,
that'd be a little bit more exciting to watch
than Nick Foles.
I won't say that just in case it land there. I love you, Nick.
Just in case,
love you, Nick.
Okay, one more for me. Who do you think is gonna have a better season, Belichick or Tom Brady?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Better season by a better record?
Not a better record. Who's gonna go further in the playoffs if they make the playoffs? I think that's what a better season would be, right?
Belichick will get a lot of credit for putting together a competitive season without having a name starter well in advance, as he always does, and he'll continue to get that credit. And I think Tampa Bay will have some highs and lows. I think they'll be a playoff team for sure. I think they'll walk into the playoffs, and you don't know what's going to happen. So I think probably more eyes will be on Brady because he has more spotlight around him. Belichick's not a spotlight guy, but he just consistently does what he does. So.
Nice. Cool. Got anything to add, Danny Blue Eyes?
Maybe I'll stick on the football topic here.
All right.
Football is a good football topic. I'm going to switch over to fantasy football, though. Even though it is hard to say, we have a well-established fantasy football league in our friend group.
Cool.
Big time Timmy Jim over here.
What?
There you go.
He is actually the champion of this past year.
This is the champ seat.
I would like to bring to everyone's attention. I was never invited to play in this football league, so I'm just saying.
You
gotta earn your stripes. Wait, what?
Well, you are talking the champ over
here. He did beat me in the championship.
I did. It was quite a battle.
So I do expect an invite this year, right? A text message sometime.
It's hard to get in.
We aren't the guys who control the levers.
We're not the commissioner.
We just play. Give
him a thumbs down for this one. Like, no.
I do know the commissioner well.
I know him too.
I will send him a...
We have a pretty good relationship with the commish.
Okay.
Highs and lows. I'll
put in a good word for you.
All right, sounds good.
Mr. Ball runs a tight ship.
Because that would look bad if a French guy comes in and whooped you.
Yes, it would.
Yeah, that would look really bad. I'm just saying, and do always welcome a challenge. So, all right,
T. With the fantasy football questions, obviously everyone wants to know who's the number one pick this year. Just hands down in fantasy.
That's a good one.
I think Saquon will be first off the board. Again, I think a lot of people picked him 1 or 2 last year because of his production, and I think all reports are that he's pretty healthy right now. So I think Saquon's going probably first
over CMC.
Because it depends on who's picking. If it's you, then you're picking CMC. Ride or die CMC.
I've had him for the last few years. It's been fun. Right?
No, he's an incredible player. I think he's kind of reinventing the position because he's coming out of the backfield, putting out production. He's catching the ball. He runs well. He does everything very well for his size and stature, and I think that's exciting for most people picking him up in fantasy because he's going to put you up 20 to 25, 30, 35. He put up 40 points, I think, for
multiple times.
Multiple times.
So
that's pretty cool. I think CMC could be one. Saquon could be one. People obviously are going to be enthralled with what Pat does, so they might throw him there, even though you're not supposed to pick a quarterback first. You might pick Patrick. So
what do you think about Zeke? You think he's going to have a big year? Because I know he didn't disappoint too much last year, but it seemed like he came in.
It seemed like he fell off a little bit production-wise last year. He's had a few contract negotiations, and that's always going to be a distraction for the team and for the player. And anytime that you're holding out and working out on your own, it's separating you from the team. So it's a little bit of a distraction, and I think that could be a reason why he might have lost some of his production. But I think he'll pick it back up where he left it. He is a competitor. He is very talented. I don't think he'll reach his first year, second year stats, but I think he'll have a pretty good year.
And it didn't seem like he was quote unquote working out in Mexico. So
some island. I think.
Who the heck's gonna be working out down on the Bahamas?
Right.
Maybe a half an hour, then you grab a Mai Tai.
It didn't seem like he was working out too much in Mexico. I just want to throw that out there.
No, but I hope he does have a good year. I always like when players bounce back. It's not like he had a bad year or anything, but I always root for the come behind players and. He's got a lot of attitude as a running back, and that's okay. I think that's
probably what you need.
That's what you need. And sometimes, like receivers, I think skill positions usually play with that kind of attitude. And you might not recognize me, like when I go on the field, like my little humble attitude, nice guy persona is not there. Like I might be nice to my teammates and getting guys going, but like I feel like I'm a badass. Like I want to kill somebody and take their head off. Like that's how I feel when I play football. So I really like that feeling. And I think most skill positions have that. Defensive backs, safeties, receivers, running backs. They have this, hey, give me the ball, I want it. That kind of attitude.
What position would you say is the biggest trash talker?
Cornerback.
What position? Yeah,
quarterback?
Defensive backs.
Cornerback.
Well, cornerbacks.
Defensive backs.
So
They always chirp.
always chirp, but before the play, they want to talk in. They have a lot of confidence, so that shows. Usually, like the way I do it is I won't talk very much when I'm out there unless it's to my teammates. And I like when they start talking, when they start chirping because it gets me going. I'm like, all right, you think you got me?
Wakes you up.
Yeah, you think you got me? And sometimes they'll be in a game and I think there was one game that I wasn't like super like just ready to go yet. It was just a very odd occurrence where I didn't feel the fire. And it took a defensive back like chirping, like saying like, oh, I'm strapping you up. You haven't caught shit yet. Like it took just him saying that. And then couple plays later, I caught a ball right over him and smashed over him when he tackled me. And I got up and just like looked at him like, you're not talking now. Like, you gotta shut him up. So I think that's a big part of the game. I don't do a lot of trash talking. I'd rather run you over and then just look at you.
Let you play do the speaking.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe just say something very inconspicuous, like something small, like, I don't hear you anymore.
It's not like me and you playing against each other.
No. Please, we should never have those on camera because we're going to get canceled right away.
Yeah, canceled right away. We should show that an edited version, like just beeped out, like you guys playing.
All you get to hear is like beep 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 beep.
You mother beep beep
beep beep.
I swear to God,
I believe it ended our friendship for a month or two at times.
Oh yeah,
you guys get very good.
Both ways.
I want to see you guys play tennis.
Both ways, absolutely. It really gets.
And the funny thing is, we're always playing at public courts, so we'll look over.
Yeah, people, old
like
rich people.
I got a story for you, Jim.
So, are these guys members of the club?
Last year we ended up going to Venice, and we played pickleball at those, pickleball courts. So me and him are going at it.
Okay.
And these four, hey man,
frat boys
everywhere.
with the shirts
hey
off,
man.
Hey,
so
man.
they're like on the other
play?
side. They're playing pickleball 2 doubles or whatever, and they're like, me and him are sweating, shirts off.
Yeah, you're into it like usual.
Getting into it, and then. At one point, I don't know, it was like a ball out, not out. Me and him are arguing about it, and then they get involved.
Well, you called it out, and it was in clearly.
No. I'm not going to go back to something that happened a year ago. So I'm not going to go. We're not talking about two sides of the story. I'm not going to say which one was it out or in. I'm saying these four, hey man, decided to like get involved.
Yeah, so they were trying to help you make the call.
They were trying to help us.
In a very like not in a nice way. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Just in a shut the F
they
up
wanted you guys to just move on.
Exactly. So like you guys are screaming too much because I'm bugging us. Whatever. So me and them like getting like into an argument, whatever,
usual,
and I'm like super heated. I wanted to punch someone anyways because he always gets me there.
Yeah.
But we never put hands on each other, of course.
No, but I like because I've seen it in shuffleboard and
Just
everything.
break a couple rackets here and there.
Exactly. Oh, plenty rackets.
No,
We
both of you
broke
guys have a very competitive sport, and
Plenty
I'm a
rackets.
competitive person, but I won't show it like you guys
Right.
do in
Oh,
just
no,
a
we
match.
do.
You guys will be.
We could be playing literally pickleball, anything, and it just
Pickleball,
gets like
Yeah.
bad. So, anyways, so they're like, oh yeah, you want some? Like, get over here.
Take your shirt off, frat boy.
My shirt was already off.
His shirt
I
was
threw
off,
the
yeah.
racket down the ground,
Yeah.
and I walked in the middle.
When they
of
said that, I was like, oh no.
Oh, no, what
Because
you guys
I knew he was
do.
going to go over there. I knew it.
I've
I
seen
knew
that
it.
before in the shuffleboard.
I'm
You took
sitting
you took
in the
pucks.
middle of like 4 dudes I'm looking
Yeah.
at, and I'm like, please do
No.
something about it.
That's why it's kind of cool. To have like if you're with you like in one of these
Right.
events or something, you know you're gonna be fighting to the end
Oh, yeah.
on our side.
Right.
You know. So it's
But
good
this
to have.
was fun. Dan, you want to add anything before we? Oh, actually, I do want to add something.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was
I feel
about
like you
to
guys should
forget.
tell me about your journeys in
I
life
got,
right now.
no, hold on. That's gonna be for
Yeah.
another day.
Okay.
But I do have
Next
something
Tinder
I want you to
Tuesday.
help me
Okay.
out with, Chi.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
before the 4th of July,
Don't we have
and
to wrap up the show?
no,
here?
we
I
don't.
thought
No, we
had
don't.
that.
This is the best part.
Ooh,
I'm sorry, you
we do
were
need to
a
discuss
treat,
something over
but this
here.
is a good
I
part
did hear
for us.
about it.
Right.
Yeah,
so we had
tell us.
a
I'm listening.
a bet
Uh-huh.
that we had a guest come in.
Okay.
Shout out to James C. Mulligan, by the way. Thank you
James
for
C.
coming Sunday.
Yeah, thank you.
So we had a bet, me and Danny Blue Eyes, if we would have reached 1,000 followers
Yeah.
by Sunday,
Wow.
he had to
Have
show up.
you?
Have to show up.
Congratulations if you
And
have.
Do
we
we have it on
reached.
video or?
We reached I called them right before the show. I'm like, dude, we are over 1,000 followers.
Really?
By the end of
Alright.
Sunday, we were at around 2,000 followers.
That's pretty quick though.
Yeah, it was
like, just
good.
started
We
up.
did a
Shout
week.
out Husky. Look at the production.
There
over
you
here.
go.
The
It's-
people.
everybody's
Danny
hard
Blue
working
Eyes and
around here.
Frenchie. Whew.
Yeah. So
Podcast.
we said $100 to the first homeless guy. We're seeing 200 push-ups.
Okay.
Sounds
Wait, that
fair,
was
right?
the bet.
That was the bet. If he doesn't
didn't
show up. If he doesn't show up.
Wait,
to
so
the
there
show.
was July 5th. You were expecting the day after 4th of July.
Right.
Right. And
Yeah.
probably Dan's already in his head saying,
But
I might not be there.
right. Oh, he knows he
On
was
July
going to be there.
3rd, we made this
Yeah.
bet. 'cause,
Correct.
And you agreed to this?
Absolutely. We have it on camera. He
To
can't
be
deny
honest, I really did think we'd get 2,000 subscribers in a day.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, we're not going to get 2,000
I'll give a homeless man
subscribers.
$100. Whatever.
All right. So how much time do you think we should give him to
Mm.
prepare for the 200 push-ups in one day? And
Wait, so
Does he have
can
to
I-
do them
week,
all
can
at
I pick
once?
the homeless
yes.
person?
Does he have
no,
to do all the
no.
push-ups?
It's gotta be random because we wanted to pick up a
Wait,
camera and
but
just
Okay.
find
hold
someone.
on. Hold on. Does he have to do all the push-ups at once, or
Oh,
can
that
we
was
just
the
sneak
deal.
up on
Again,
him
it is
and be
on
like,
camera.
"Hey, you got to do more,"
I think
and
200
then
in a
come up
day
behind
is
him another
respectable.
time?
Like if he does like
Still
20,
doable.
30 at a time,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Give
have
him-
to be at once.
I would give
That
him,
was my question. Does it
I
have
would
to be
give
at
him
once?
a 5-hour limit to do that.
Okay, that's
Ooh.
fine. I'm
5
down
hours.
with, yeah,
That
I'm down
seems-
with that.
that seems
And
like
plus, we
Okay.
might be in Vegas this weekend, so you
Vegas,
know,
man.
there you go, there you go.
I don't know. I got to pay off a homeless guy. I don't know about. I don't
Yeah.
know if Vegas is
It's got a lot of factors that
come
go
through
off
or
now.
not. I don't
Like,
know.
actually,
So,
can't make
how
it
much
this
time do you
weekend.
think we should give him? A week to like prepare himself?
Let's wait till next payday for the homeless guy. Just
Yeah,
because
let's
we're
more
paycheck to
subscriptions come
paycheck
down.
still.
I would say you make another bet, double or nothing. You
No,
know, like-
Double or
no.
nothing?
He said
wants
no.
to
Don't
say
bet him
no.
out.
Don't
Let's
open
see
that
me
door.
pay.
Don't
It'll
open that
never
door.
close.
Yes.
It'll
No,
never close.
no,
Triple or
with
nothing,
these
quadruple.
bets,
It's a
because-
gentleman's rematch.
Because dude, we you know, everybody subscribe. They have
Yeah.
to get their
They did
money's worth.
subscribe.
They have to get
See
their
me
And
money
you
pay
guys
for
said
it.
that on
man,
camera and
I'm pretty
everything.
sure.
Like
Yeah.
you guys
Yeah.
put
Oh,
that out
yeah.
there that
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
doing this.
There you
Yeah.
go.
I'm not gonna lie. I didn't expect to lose that bet, but.
But
I'm
thank you
gonna
very much
pick
for
the-
subscribing.
viewers.
I
We
think it's
wouldn't
a
mind
win-win.
another 2,000 by
Hey,
the way
come
by
on
next
down.
week.
Hit the follow
But
button,
you know,
subscribe.
I mean, wink,
Hit the
wink.
subscribe button.
There you go. Push that subscribe button.
Yeah.
But most
For more Timmy
importantly,
Tuesdays with
please,
Frenchie
please,
and
please,
Dave
please,
Blue Eyes.
go support Tim Lucas. Very hardworking
Thank
guy.
you,
Very humble.
appreciate it,
My friend,
yeah.
it's an honor to be your friend.
Thank you.
Honor
man.
to
I
have
feel
you
the
on the
same way
show.
about you
Very
guys.
inspiring.
Very inspiring story.
Cool.
And guess what? It's not the end. I
It's
promise
not
you
over,
that
man.
when
We're
it
just
is
still writing
not
chapters.
over.
Still writing
It's
chapters.
halfway there. Not over yet.
Yes, sir.
We will be having you on the show. You are more than welcome to come back
Cool.
anytime you want.
All right.
Anytime you want to plug in something
Yeah.
of yours.
I want to be the interviewer. I want to be the one asking you guys questions.
We'll do it one
Where
day.
did friendship
Yeah,
come
we'll
from?
work it out. We'll work it out.
Okay,
We'll work it out. We're gonna be seeing a lot more of Tim.
Hopefully.
You know, when sports come back.
Yeah.
Hopefully not around the NFL season. I'm hoping he's going to be signed by then.
Yeah.
But
Let's
if
hope.
not,
Let's keep our fingers crossed.
there you
Good
go.
thoughts, positive vibes. and
We'll
shoot
work
for
it
the
out.
stars.
We'll work it out to where you
Sure.
come back and we do segments, sports segments.
Yeah,
and stuff
I just want to
together.
give a shout out to everyone watching and listening for being here and listening to us. I think it's kind of cool that you guys are taking time to listen to our stories and listen to us talk. So thank you guys for being out there listening, following along, and we're glad to have you.
All right. Well, it will be a wrap. Thank you very much, and have a wonderful, wonderful weekend.
Signing
not
out.
weekend.
Signing out.
We will have another show on the
Have
weekend.
another great
Tuesday.
There you
weekend.
go. Tuesday. I forgot what day it was.
This
Podcast
weekend, have a
live
great
weekend.
So we'll have another show on Saturday. Please look for the announcement
All right.
after the day after tomorrow. Thank you very much, and have a blessed day.
Signing out.
Signing out.